My name is Keeyen Martin, and I just killed my interview at Next Up.
Keeyen Martin, how's it going?
It's going really well. Going really well.
Okay, you are a singer, songwriter. What else do you do?
Singer, songwriter, and pianist.
Ooh, pretty cool.
Yeah.
When did you learn how to play the piano?
Well, funny story about that. I had to start when I was like 3 or 4, but it didn't go over too well because I hated it. So I would not practice, and my piano teacher and parents would get annoyed. So they kind of let me just put it on the shelf. But I picked it back up when I was like 12 or 13, because that's when I actually wanted to do it, and I was like, yeah, I want to do it because I want to do it, not because you're making me do it. Yeah.
Was there something that made you want to, or was it just an interest because you enjoyed music?
Oh yeah, hands down Stevie Wonder. Like when I saw that Stevie Wonder was like the beast singer, songwriter, and pianist, I said, okay, I have to have that as my triple threat. Like I look up to him so much, so yeah.
Who are some of the other people that you look up to?
There are tons of people. Wow. Okay, let me see if I can zero in. So definitely Stevie Wonder, Bobby Brown. I think that he just represents one of the most charismatic, eclectic performers, especially in his prime. Missy Elliott, Quincy Jones, the Clark sisters. Wow. Jasmine Sullivan, Molly Music, Pharrell Williams, Timbaland, Drake. There's so many artists that I just really gleaned from personally for many different reasons, but I feel like I'm missing somebody. I have to say, like, oh man, his name is, did I say Timbaland? No, I don't think I said Timbaland. Like Timbaland, they just represent like success musically through entertainment. Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, John Legend. See, I'm thinking of more people. Jamie Foxx, like all of these people, they just are pivotal people that have inspired and influenced me. So that was a lot of people, but they all, I look up to them. I really do.
Now, when did you get into music, like seriously, like singing and songwriting?
Seriously, I would say about 12 to 13. I kind of didn't so much have a choice just because my dad was a songwriter and pastor, and so my uncle, he's a big time musician and songwriter, so I was always around it, and it was naturally just something that I saw as, hey, this is like the thing to do. So because it was kind of a profession in my family, I kind of already felt like, oh, I'm going to do something like this, you know. But I would say between 12 to 13, that's when it really shifted to become a joy for me to just experience what it was like to be creative and express that through lyrics and sing my songs and just learn about it. So yeah, 12 to 13 was when it became big, and I got my first opportunities to share music.
Do you only write for yourself?
No, I don't only write for myself. I would say in these past few years, it primarily has been for myself, just because, it comes a point in life where you just lock in who you are, and it's like I gotta get some things accomplished for me, so I can write for other people to another level. But yeah, I'm totally open to creating for a lot of people.
What's your process like when you do write?
It's different, but I would say on a typical writing session for myself, I love sitting down on my keyboard, piano, and I'll usually always hear melodies because I'm always just singing. So I'll sit down and try to play chords, and I may want to go through 1 5 4 5 1, or something, and do a diminished chord, or I'll try to map out some chords, and then with that melody usually a topic will come, and let's say if the topic is about love, it'll just be Love is something that I do. Won't you say you love me? 'Cause I love you too. Like, you know, it'll just be something random, and I always try to make it flow with the chords. I guess that's the pianist in me. And yeah, before I know it, a song is built.
Now, if you could play any other instruments, what would you choose?
Oh wow. I would definitely say bass guitar. I think guitarists, period, they just have like this energy, like it's just crazy and infectious. But bass guitarists, I think like their swag match with the depth of like the bass sound. It's just like a joy to watch bassists, and that's definitely an instrument that I would love to pick up.
Now, to backtrack a little bit, you're from Charlotte. What was that like?
Well, growing up in Charlotte, it was a lot of fun. It wasn't until I relocated to Atlanta I recognized like how much Charlotte was just a very relaxed, pretty chill city. You know, not too fast, not too slow, just right in the middle. But it was really fun. You know, I grew up with a loving family, a musical family, artistic family, and at an early age I was always, you know, shoved to the forefront of you gotta hear him sing, and so that just, you know, was my normality. And it was a lot of great experiences that I think, well, I don't think, I know set the tone for my young and budding career. So I love Charlotte 704 all day.
Now, did you always want to come to Atlanta because of your career, or was it for Morehouse?
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so I definitely knew, I would say freshman year, it was destined for me to come to Atlanta, Georgia. Like I'm a believer, I'm a spiritual person, and I just remember when Atlanta's, I don't want to say heyday, because I feel like Atlanta's heyday spans a while, because technically now it'd still be kind of like Atlanta's heyday. Neither here nor there. I remember in the early 2000s, I think when the Snap era took off, it was just like electric. Like all of us in North Carolina were trying to like adjust, like, hey, how can we get a part of that world? And I remember very vividly TLC being one of my favorite, you know, groups of all time. I remember their story on like Behind the Music that I used to, as a kid, would always watch. Behind the Music, Access Granted, TRL 106 in Part, like Cedar's World, His from the Street, like Rap City Basement, like all of that era. It just would speak to me daily. You're destined to like go to Atlanta, and I didn't know what that meant at the time. But fast forward into my senior year, when it came around to applying for schools, I applied to a lot of state schools, but I always knew I don't want to go to like these schools. And pretty much when I got accepted to Morehouse, I remembered, I was like, wow, like, okay, this has to be destiny. One, because Morehouse is expensive as all get out, and I was blessed with a scholarship to afford it. So I was like, okay, it's got to be destiny that I was headed to Atlanta. And man, getting to Atlanta, it has just allowed me to take flight. Like, yeah.
Now, do you feel like going to school was essential to your personal career? Did you learn a lot about yourself, or was it just like, I'm in school and I'm learning this, but I can transition to other stuff?
I definitely think that going to school is essential. Now, I know we're in this day and age where everybody, you know, they say education is relative and this and college is relative, and I understand, but I feel like in all that getting, like, you have to get an education, period. Like, whether you're doing it yourself or you're going to a school for higher learning. For me specifically, it was important because there were so many moments coupled with the collegiate experience that I know I needed. You know, being a singer, being a musician, coming from, you know, a home where, for lack of better words, I was kind of like the golden child. I needed to be humbled. I needed to be broken down and experience, okay, you're in a whole nother city where nobody really cares who you are. You have to prove yourself. So college for me, it was more of like a business deal, because I told my mother, I was like, I'm gonna do well academically to stay on scholarship, and because I like learning. But I'm in Atlanta, so these 4 years of my life, I got free housing, I got free food, I'm about to grind. You know, like in 4 years, you can cover a lot of ground in a city like Atlanta where everybody is doing music and have entertainment-based careers. So it definitely was essential for me because I grew so much in school.
What were some of the things that you sacrificed along this musical journey?
Oh wow. There have definitely been a fair share of sacrifices. I would say there were a lot of moments as it will relate to certain friendships where certain friendships just kind of fell by the wayside because I'm a Gemini, so Geminis naturally get bad raps. Oh, y'all just crazy, y'all got two faces. But okay, beyond that, we're very loyal people. You know, we love hard, we respect people, we value time. And I think being an entertainer, being an artist, you meet a lot of people that they respect what you do, but they don't always honor your commitment levels. And that once showed me how, hey, we're people that may have like minds, but we don't have like journeys or like paths. And you just have to learn at the end of the day, I'm going to put me first because I'm created to be put into the earth to impact people. But if what you got going on is hindering and you can't respect what I got going on, then perhaps we don't need to be in this close of a kinship or a friendship, you know. So I think that was definitely something that in the moment, of course, it sucks because you don't want to say bye to friends or relationships change, but it shows you, man, like we all got work to do, and I can't let one person hinder my journey. So
Hit him.
yeah.
So I read that you try to make meaningful music. What is meaningful music to you?
Meaningful music to me is something of substance that is going to give somebody something that they can apply. I aim to uplift, encourage, and inspire people through music. And I feel like the core of being an artist is being a servant. You know, I think every career path, no matter what it is that you choose, the core of that is some type of servitude. Like you're given a platform, you're giving a job, you're giving a career, because there's a plethora of people that you're responsible for, you know, in many different ways, shape, forms, or fashions. But meaningful music is something that people can really, really soak in, you know, sonically, and they can apply to their whole self, to their day to day. And as a singer, I hope that when people hear me sing or hear the lyrics, it's tangible stories, it's relatable stories, it's, you know, core themes that they can be like, wow, like the way he said that was dope, that resonates with me. And, you know, they can share it with other people. By no means do I ever attempt to write to overly, I would say, perpetuate just the negative aspects of culture. It's like, you know, we hear that enough. So what's wrong with some positivity through a love song or me telling my own personal experience? So that's what I call as meaningful music.
Now I know that you were doing a lot with background singing.
Mm-hmm.
Who were you most excited about singing background for?
Oh wow, I would say the individual that totally holds like the top I would say of all the artists I've ever sang background for is definitely Mr. Stevie Wonder. That moment, I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in college and we had auditions, and you know, a lot of times you go into stuff like defeating yourself, like I'm not about to get this, like this is not about to happen, and lo and behold, you know, like I was a part of the list of people that was selected to sing. I believe it was for Dr. Joseph E. Laurie. They do like these big birthday concerts for him, and so I mean, I just felt like, honestly, like singing behind Stevie Wonder, it's like, okay, game over. Like, yeah, that's like one of the best artists ever. So that moment, it taught me so much, and it's definitely an accomplishment I'm very proud of.
So what about Maya Angelou?
Oh wow, the Dr. Maya Angelou. So another amazing moment. Like I tell you, like I've been so blessed with just these crazy Kairos moments. But I remember I was I think I was a sophomore, junior in college, and I was in like the study hall area, and one of my mentors from back home, he calls me and says, "Hey Keeyen, I need you for this gig." And I was like, well, we have to go out of town with my school's choir. Then he was like, okay, well, we have an opportunity to sing for Dr. Maya Angelou. I said, okay, do I need to buy my megabus ticket like now? Cause like I'm ready. And basically it was a private exclusive birthday celebration honoring Dr. Maya Angelou in Winston-Salem, where that's where she resided. And being a North Carolina boy, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. And it was one of the most lavish, exquisite, like just experiences imaginable, because it was curated and hosted by the Oprah Winfrey. So the mere fact that I'm in sound check, and I tell the story all the time, I'll never forget it. We walk up to sound check, no lie, like it's these beaming lights like glaring at us, and after your eyes adjust, it's Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King. And I was just like, I think a little bit of pee came down my leg, y'all. Like I think that I'm like, this is really, I'm wetting myself and I'm too old for that, but it's okay. And I just remember like getting kudos from Oprah Winfrey. I had like a brief little moment or something, and she was like, oh my goodness, like you can sing. And I was just like, Oprah Winfrey told me I could sing. Like I can't sing after this moment. And anyway, like I know I'm rambling, but it was like, imagine Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King, and it was all of these like legend. It was basically like a Legends Ball almost, but it was for her birthday. So I'll never forget that. Rest in peace, Queen Dr. Maya Angelou. Thank you for allowing little boy from Charlotte, North Carolina, to share in that moment. So
that was beautiful. Now, I know you put out Suitcase in 2016, and then you put out Prelude recently. What was the gap for?
Wow. So the gap is deep. Okay, so the gap really came by way of it being in entertainment. As we all know, it is definitely not a crystal stair. There's a lot of lows and a lot of highs, but in that interim, it was just a lot of deals that didn't go as planned, where you get signed and A&R leaves, so you're stuck like Chuck, and you're just on the show. And I learned in that process there was pretty much a body of work that I was creating, but unfortunately I wasn't contractually able to use it because it was assigned to this situation. So it was a lot of growing, a lot of soul searching. Am I really supposed to be doing this? Because all these opportunities, I'm benched. I'm ready to play, but I'm benched. But in a positive light, I think I grew as a writer. I grew as a performer, as an artist. So when I did get an amazing green light in 2018, the Prelude represents just that. Like it is literally alluding to some of the best music I think I've ever created. And music that I think I was ready to release, because a lot of times I think we think we're ready for stuff, and perhaps me having those moments of being on pause, like it was necessary because the situation could have totally jacked me up, So the gap was definitely for that primarily. But I like to look at the positives. The gap also was for me to grow and for me to create something that you can listen to now.
Well, we're excited for you to be doing your thing freely.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's very important for you to be living your best creative life. Why would you be next up?
I would say I'm next up just because this has been, it's so crazy, when you're young to be like, I've been doing this for a long time and this is my moment. But I think even mathematically looking at it, I think I'm next up because I used to always wonder when they would say like it takes 10 to 15 years to break an industry. My freshman year in Morehouse College was 2009. And this being 2010, I had a huge epiphany recognizing like a lot of opportunities and kudos and recognition from people in the industry that's coming in an overwhelming way. Now it's like, well, I've been in the trenches for like 10 years. Literally, it doesn't feel like that. But I think that coupled along with my angle as a creative, I don't think anybody does what I do the way I do it because I'm me, and I don't do anything the way that anybody else does, nor do I try. And I think I represent, an eclectic millennial that has some great great art that I think I'm meant to share in an amazing way. So because I'm meant to do this, that's why I really believe and know that I'm next up.
I believe it too. Where can these people find you, your music, everything?
So it's very easy. I have a very unique name. Shout outs to mom. You can find me everywhere on Keeyen Martin, KeeyenMartin. That's my website, KeeyenMartin.com. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Everything is literally my first and last name, KeeyenMartin.com. So please follow me. I love interacting on social media. Yeah.